Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's about 10:18 a.m. on December 12th, 2013. We are 13 days away from Christmas, and well, for 13, and you add more, and you add 6 more days to that, we are 19 days away from New Year's Eve, and essentially, well, yeah, we're essentially almost 20 days away from 2014. But I wanted to do this audio video in response to something I was watching by Angry Joe Vargas. And apparently something happened that Angry Joe and several other people out there are not too happy about. Apparently, there's a new content ID system that's been rolled out this past week. And for anybody that doesn't know what content ID is on YouTube, content ID basically allows YouTube and allows a third party to, well, basically it allows YouTube to identify um, a song, or basically identify, what source or what publisher or what source the song or the clip or whatever is from. Now, for someone like myself, I have a lot of songs through fan vids and stuff, through some of my CAW, uh, um, WWE games and all that. I have I have some content ID matchups. Now, YouTube has at times in the past, with someone like me, has had a third party come on and force them, or not, well, not force them, but it's basically told them to either block my videos or put a copyright claim on there and block it in several countries. I know there is one country in particular that blocks some of my fan vids and stuff, or some of the CAWs I do, because of the music involved, and that's Germany. I don't know why that's the case, but that's what Content ID does. And sometimes it can be a positive. It can be a positive because there will be times you will, from what I've seen, basically, from what I've seen a majority of the time, from what I've seen from a majority of the time, uh, it can be a positive thing because you'll still be able to keep your video, with maybe an exception of being blocked in one country or two. But the positive about that is, from what I've seen, a majority of the time, not all the time, but a majority of the time, you could keep your video. But what they'll do is, not only will they put a content ID claim on there, not only will they put a content ID claim on there, but the positive is, not only will they let you keep your video, but they'll also allow you to put, but not allow you to put, but they will also put a link on the bottom right hand, on the right under your video, in, I think, in the description box. They will put a link along with maybe a cover or a logo indicating where you can actually go watch and maybe even buy or listen and buy the content that's being used. Like, for example, when I used Stan Bush's The Touch in several of my Sonic fan vids, they'll put a content ID down there with an album cover of Transformers the movie, and they will say, go to Google, Amazon, iTunes, eMusic, go to any one of these, and you can not just buy the song you're listening to, but you can also buy the album if you want to. And that's a positive because and as crazy as that sounds, that is a positive because it allows you to keep your video, but in turn, it allows places like Google and Google Play and iTunes and eMusic and Amazon MP3. It allows them to make revenue off of that. Now, I know you might think, well, why don't they share that revenue with you? Well, it's quite simple. You see, the difference between me and people like Angry Joe is I'm not a partner. I'm not a guy that here's the thing. YouTube will offer me at times to make money off my videos, and I'll decline them. And here's why. I do not, and here's why. I'm not saying that I wouldn't make money. I probably would. But I've always felt that there's always a catch to it. There's always a catch 42, if you know what I mean. There's always a catch. Or catch 22, or whatever you want. There's always a catch to something. Or basically I was raised on the fact that you always have to be suspicious about certain things. And not saying that I probably wouldn't make some good money off it. I'm more along the lines of saying, you know what? I'm not going to do this because there might be more to it than what's being let on. And that's pretty much the truth. I'm not doing it because there might be a little bit more that's not being let on. There might be more to it than what they're saying. So that's why, despite all the opportunities they've given me, I've declined. And I'm sure they understand that. I'm sure they understand why people like myself will decline that, because we always feel that there's going to be more to this than just making money. But even though I'm not a partner, and even though I don't make money off these videos, it's more along the lines that I still get copyright IDs. I still get multi-third-party content claims. But does that hurt my videos? Not really. It just basically says, when you click on it, it shows you who's it available to, and what the content is sourced from, and all that, blah, blah, blah. The only thing you do have to look out for, though, when you go to your channel, your upload channel, and you go to your copyright or your copyright claims, or your whatever it's called, the copyright content, if you will. The only thing you have to do when you're browsing through that is you got to look out for either orange or red triangles. That's right, orange or red triangles. Now, what the orange will indicate is your video is blocked in some countries. Not all around the world, but in some countries. Heck, one of those countries might even be the U.S. for all you know. The red one, however, that is what you got to look out for as well, because the red one will basically indicate that it's blocked worldwide, or that it's been taken off due to the fact that you had huge copyright claim against it, or stuff like that. And also you have the orange as well that could also say age restriction. In other words, you might be using a song, or you might have a song on there that's not appropriate for kids, or you might have content on there that might not be appropriate for kids to see. Like, let's say you're playing a horror game. You're just doing you're not doing a walkthrough or let's play, but you're just doing something that says, okay, here's here's COD Ghost Part 1. That's all you would have to say, and they would say age restriction because of the content and because of the language. Same with Gears of War, same thing. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to the content ID section, or the copyright deal situation that is on the left-hand side of your computer, left-hand side of your screen, when you go to your upload page, and you click on that, a majority of the time you might see nothing on there except your videos, which pretty much indicates, okay, there is copyright content on there, but it's not that bad. It's not even that bad at all. And of course, sometimes you might even find some videos that might say match third-party content, and it's still not that bad because it's still playable because it's not blocked. They're just saying, okay, we know where this song is from. We know that you're using, we know there's a song on here that's not that bad. Here, let's source it out to where people can actually buy it. And then, of course, like I said, you'll probably find some that might have the orange triangle on there that'll say blocked in some countries, age restricted. And sometimes you might even get the red one that says you're blocked worldwide or it's been taken off. So, you know, you're bound to get that. And I can understand where Joe's coming from. I can understand. But you see, the situation with Joe and people like him is they're part of what's known as multi-channels network. And I guess what YouTube is doing, you know, it's not a very, and I guess what YouTube is doing has not really gone over good with a lot of people. And I can understand. I can understand how Joe feels. I can understand how people like Joe feels. I can probably understand how people like James Wolfe feels. I can probably understand how people like those at the League of Super Critics YouTube page feel. I can understand how a lot of these people feel. I can understand how IGN feels. I can understand how Maxinia feels or Review Tech USA feels. I understand where a lot of these people are coming from. I can understand. You pretty much, you know, here you have Angry Joe, who every week or every now and then, every other week or something like that, does a review or does a walkthrough or a let's play or does an Angry Joe plays video. I can understand where he's coming from when he's basically coming out and saying, when he basically gets upset at the fact that now all of a sudden him being part of something that normally wouldn't get flagged or normally wouldn't have a copyright claim put on him or on any of his videos because he's partners with because basically he's a partner with YouTube and that they're partners with him and partners with other various outlets that he's a part of. I can understand where his anger is coming from because it's all of a sudden it's like you're going against what you agreed upon when they became partners. Basically pretty much what's going on here is YouTube is now treating a lot of these let's plays and walkthroughs and even reviews and stuff like what Angry Joe has as if they're just like the rest of us. You know, as if they're just like, oh, well, you know, if we got to file copyright claims against these people and all that are not partners and don't make money off us, you know what, then, you know, maybe we should, you know, maybe they shouldn't be the only ones. Maybe we should implement this system and basically tell our partners, hey, look, it's not fair that these people that don't pay and not partners get these copyright claims against them. So guess what? We're going to do the same thing with you. That might be the case. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying that's why they did it. I'm not saying that's why they did it. I mean, Angry Joe, he has a point. He has a point. It could be the people up in Washington D.C., the people that have always been trying to get SOPA or Actica or whatever, Pipper, if you will, been trying to get all these things and are continuously trying to get all these bills passed. It is probably part of them, if not a majority of them, coming down on people like Google, coming down on people like YouTube to implement these new restrictions, these new content copyright IDs, even for those that are on these multi-channel networks. And for someone like Angry Joe, for him to look at his uploads and see on YouTube that some of his videos are blocked in certain countries, if not blocked worldwide, for some of his videos to basically be given a matched third-party content, yeah, it will upset anybody. It will upset anybody. But it's like, because you'll be like, wait a minute. I've been partners with YouTube for so long. My website, Blister Thumbs, channel awesome, angryjoeshow.com. My Cinemassacre, that guy with the glasses. We've all, atop the fourth wall, we've all been partners with these guys, and yet now all of a sudden they want to do this? This is not right. This is not what we agreed to. Now, there are some people that have come out. Now, there are some people I've seen in the comment section that basically have agreed with what Joe says. But there are some as well that have kind of said, Joe, it's not that bad. All you have to do is dispute the claims, and most of the times you're going to win. And believe it or not, there are publishers, according to several reports, like Blizzard, Ubisoft, Capcom, and several others that have come out and said, hey, Angry Joe, hey, Cinemassacre, hey, Blister Thumbs, that guy with the glasses, here's what you guys do. Dispute these claims. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. What's going on, and we'll try to fix it. Or dispute these claims and tell them nothing's wrong with this. And again, I can understand where Joe and all of them are coming from, especially from a partner standpoint, from a multi-channel network standpoint. This is why when people like myself are asked to become partners, when people like myself are asked to monetize our content, or what we basically asked to make money off our videos. This is why people like me, despite the opportunity to make a little bit more cash and put a little bit more cash in our pockets, this is why we decline. This is why we kindly decline. We kindly say no, thank you. It's because we know stuff like this will go down, and we don't need that. That is why someone like Angry Joe, if he doesn't like this kind of stuff, I mean, sure, he's going to dispute a lot of these claims. He's going to maybe there will be petitions starting. I wouldn't be surprised. I won't be surprised by that. But, in the end, this is all going to blow over. A lot of these claims are going to be disputed, and a lot of these claims are going to be overruled. So basically, a lot of the content will be restored. A lot of these IDs and matched third-party contents are all going to be taken off. I'm not going to be surprised by that, because I know it's probably going to happen. But the thing is, as long as a majority of your videos, with maybe the exception of a few, are still playable and still watchable, don't get so mad. But again, if I'm Angry Joe, and let's say just by chance, a lot of these disputes are not overruled. If I'm Angry Joe, or if I'm someone that wants to be like Angry Joe, let's say I'm part of a review network, a part of a website or a review website that reviews video games, that does Let's Plays and walkthroughs. Here's what I do if I'm Angry Joe. If I'm not Angry Joe, but here's what I do if I want to be like Angry Joe, or kind of do reviews like he did. I start a YouTube account. I do. But I don't partner. I don't make money. And if my website that I'm associated with says, why not? I said, because I'm going to have a channel here on YouTube where my video reviews might be a whole 22 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, or it might be split in 2 or 3 parts, depending on how it is. And I back it up by saying I'm also going to have a Blimp account, a blimp.com or Dailymotion account, and I'll provide a link in the description box if my reviews are in multi-parts, and say, hey, you can watch the whole review without any breaks, without any parts or anything at this location. That's what I would do. That way, I don't have to worry about this kind of stuff happening. But again, I understand where Joe's coming from. I understand why he's angry. I understand why a lot of people in his position are angry and not happy about this. And believe me, the backlash is going to affect YouTube. It's going to affect Google. And Google and YouTube, if let's say it is the people that have been pushing SOPA, have been pushing things like SOPA and Actica and PIPA and all these other bills, a lot of these ridiculous ass bills in our faces and in Congress, in the House's faces, just to try to get them passed. Here's what's going to happen. Google is going to get backlashed on. YouTube and Google are going to get backlashed on. And that's going to hit back at those people. And then YouTube and Google are going to lash out against those people that basically pressured them to do this and say, hey, look, this is your fault. This is your fault. All this is happening. We got so much backlash. This is your fault. We're losing revenue. This is your fault that we did this. So guess what? Leave us alone. Leave our users alone. Leave our partners alone. And get a life. Or something like that. That's basically what would happen. Or not will happen. Probably will happen if YouTube and Google get enough backlash towards them from the people like Angry Joe and those in his similar position. But again, I understand where he's coming from. I really do. I really do. But my message to Joe and to anybody in his position is this. If a majority of your videos are still watchable and still available, with maybe a few exceptions, don't get so mad. Remember, you do have accounts at other video sites. Just put a video up if you have to saying such and such video is no longer here, but you can watch it here. That's what a lot of people do. Believe it or not. That's what a lot of people do. That's what people at thatfellowinthecoat.com do when they know, hey, I'm going to do a review on a movie, but I can't do that review of the movie here because it's going to be copyright claimed. It might not be, they might take it off. They might not allow me to play it. So if I'm Angry Joe and people in his position, I would do something like that. And don't get so mad, man. I understand where you're coming from. It's not, I know what you feel. I know how you feel. It's, you've been doing this for as long as you have, and I'm a fan of Angry Joe's, and I'm always going to be a fan of his. But, dude, as long as your majority of your videos are watchable and playable still, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But if there is a video you feel that shouldn't have been blocked or shouldn't have been taken off, then yes, dispute it. Dispute it, okay? Go ahead. You have all the right to do that. They've even said in that report that they're allowing you to dispute it. And you have publishers that are encouraging you. Whether you want to believe them or not, that's totally up to you. But, again, I understand where you're coming from. Yes, YouTube used to be something everybody really got a kick out of, and now because of everything that's been going down over the past 7-8 years, it's like, I mean, even the founder, even the guy that founded YouTube, the original founder is not happy with some of the changes. And you know what? This is what happens. This is what happens when you say, okay, we'll sell you our company. Because sometimes if you sell a company to a bigger company, they'll either keep things as they are or they'll change things. That's about it. And that company that buys you out has all the right to do that. Whether we like it or not. Whether we like the comment, whether a lot of us like the fact that the comments thing, like I talked about in on-screen videos, and like everybody else has, the comment section for YouTube, why they changed that, I don't know. Why they? Well, I do know. Actually, I do know. It's because they want to cut down on the basically the bullying and basically the spamming and all that. I get that. I get that. And you know what? I'm actually appreciative of it because I've noticed in some of the comments that there are less spammers, there are less bulliers than there are those as if the comment section was the way it was. Now, am I still a fan of the comment section being changed? No, I'm not. But as I've seen, there's a reason for it. And you know what? Sooner or later, we might just get used to it. I don't know. Maybe it'll go back to the way it was. I don't know. But the thing is that is part of what happens when you sell your company to a bigger company. You give them the right in which they now have to do whatever they want. You give them the right to say, okay, we're going to do this and that, and they have that right now. And sometimes the decisions they make will be popular with fans and viewers, and some of them won't be. But they're in the right to do that. And right now, what they're doing with this whole new content ID system or rollout when it comes to the partners and multi-channel networks and all that, they have all the rights to do that now. They have the right to do that. They probably know it's not going to be a very popular decision. They probably already know it's not going to be a popular decision in the eyes of many people. But it's in the right. It's their right to do it. And all you can do, as it said, all you can do is dispute the claims and see what happens from there. But that's all I'm going to say in response to Angry Joe's rant for today. Let me know what you guys think down below. I know a lot of you will probably agree with Joe, and that's great. You know, give him the support he needs. But I know some of you might even have mixed reactions about it. But let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll talk to y'all later.